you, Aditya, for like coming us here and talking with us. So just to share with everyone, basically, so Aditya is working as a software engineer too in Microsoft Redmond, like in USA, basically, and he has done his MS from Indiana University. So, Aditya, like, how about you share your experience? I mean, I think it's been almost 3 years in Microsoft.
Almost like 2.83.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to like 2.8, like almost 3 years. Yeah. So how's your experience? I mean, so far you have like got one promotion also, I think so. Like, how's your journey so far with Microsoft US?
Journey has been really like good. It's like everyone would say like the journey is good, but for me it has been like pretty good. Um, like you learn, there are new things, and plus like Microsoft is a big company. I mean, the product that they launch goes to millions of people, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
having that kind of an impact makes a big difference in your like personal professional life. So I guess the journey has been pretty rock solid so far. um, a lot of learning, a lot of meeting new people, senior people, talented people. So I'm enjoying it so far.
Oh, that's great. So Redmond is if I'm not wrong, it's the headquarter of the Microsoft, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, that's great. I mean, yeah, I mean, definitely that's like good to hear. So, so how's the culture? I mean, in terms of like when we talk about the culture, how's the like peers basically, and like in terms of facilities, like if you can, like if you can, whatever you can like allowed to share basically. So, in terms
Yeah.
of culture, seniors, like managers, teams, I think it's more about the team basically, whichever team you are working on. So, like
Yes.
from your experience, how's the like culture so far, like for Microsoft? I mean for your team and you have seen so far?
I mean, one thing you might have heard, like everyone, like since Satya came into the picture, that empathetic word has been like rock solid into the culture, like embedded into the culture.
Okay.
But like flowing down to the stream, sometimes it loses its value. But one thing that I have seen so far in the culture is this empathetic word has been in everyone's mind. Like, oh, I have to be empathetic. Like your work should be empathetic towards others. Like your time, like someone else's time is valuable. You should be like, okay. The simple things are like not having meetings at the odd hours is like they
Okay.
value your time, they value your personal time. So these are something very good things that I've seen, and they moved me. Like so, for instance, there was this one very small example that I would give. So I was working on one of the product with one of the senior person, and I set up a meeting. I'm just telling you about like how people have prioritize their life, personal life and professional life, and there's how the distinction is.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I set up a meeting, then so I sent him a request to accept the meeting, and he rejects it, like he declines it, and he messages me and says that, can you please, like
Some different
set
times.
at some different time because I have to go and have a lunch with my wife. I was like,
Yeah.
that's a good thing, like you know okay, I understand, like there's a professional world, but then you also have a personal life.
Yes, yes,
So people are very empathetic towards your time, like they respect you, respect your time. So I think that is a really good thing that has been like Microsoft has been doing so far in that way. um Great colleagues, great people to talk to. Like I remember like my most of the problems that have been solved are in the breakout area. Like I meet some people and they're like, what you're working on? And I'm like, I'm working on this, so do you have any idea? And they're like, yeah, sure, because I worked on this part. So like meeting great colleagues, just like on the way, like you walk on the like you just walk and you meet, say you say hi, and they talk about like what's going on. You share your ideas, they share their work. It's a great conversation that happens. And plus there's an open door culture. Like you, like literally you can go to anyone's office and just like, hey, do you have a minute? Can I talk to you about this problem? And they're like, yeah, sure, you can talk to it. So
yeah, I think that's a good thing. I mean, especially like in a way, like when the companies like becomes more and more big, and especially like the company Microsoft, which is I think one of the like biggest companies in the world. I mean, like in terms of everything, like revenue and general number of peoples also. I think that like keeping that thing, I mean, that's
Exactly.
also good. I mean, and the example you shared, I mean, like respecting time. I mean, so
Yeah.
that's I think it's a small, like it looks a minor thing, but
Yeah.
it's a like a big thing. Basically, like people respects time. I mean, respect time and like able to adjust around things basically, and not like not after work until like it's very critical, not pushing towards it like we can do next day basically.
Exactly. I
So
mean, there's a balance that has to be maintained. Like you have to be productive. If you want to be a productive person, you have to have a time that is like free your mind. You come back again. The problems are solved not by sitting too much on the screen, but it's like thinking about it. Like, so if you're free from your mind, if you're like, oh, the company is going to take care of yourself, like of you tend to work more hard because company is being trusting you with something that, you know,
yes, yes, correct, correct. No, no,
they trust.
exactly. Yeah, that's I think that's more important, I guess, right? I mean, when you have that culture, like when you're not being pushed like to work over hours, like I have seen in many companies where like there's too much like being pressured, like and no, I was like even talking to like few of my friends. I mean, I said like I said like why don't talk to your manager about it? Like if someone is like someone is pushing that diff like like pull request at the like 1 a.m. in the night, just like messaging you something to do in the like evening. Like I was saying like it's I feel it's the manager. I mean, like see like it is the manager like who sets the culture. So I think I think you
Exactly.
have a great manager. I think because manager sets the example and like push towards these things. Okay, like you don't need to go beyond time, and just respect the time. If it's not until like you have to do it now, something is like breaking, like we can it can wait for next day, just wait for next day basically.
Yeah.
So
I mean, mental health is one of the very found topic these days,
yes,
and
yes, exactly, correctly, correct.
that's an important topic to discuss. Like, yeah, though there is work, but like, how much work is not affecting you? Are you enjoying the work, or are you just doing because you have a pressure of doing the work,
Yes, yes,
right?
correct, correct.
So it's a very fine line. And one thing that like I love about being in Microsoft, it's a big company, right? It's a huge company, so they do community work also. So I got an opportunity, like personally, to be in this mentorship program, like which Microsoft initiated for African students. So I signed up for that, and I got selected, and then I got this opportunity to mentor a student from Gambia. I mean, so you're coding, you're a software dev, and then you're getting this kind of opportunity to just explore more what you have, like being a mentor,
Yeah,
talking to
to make
someone.
an impact basically.
So I mean, I love this kind of activities which are like you have not done before, and something which is like way out of what you could have thought.
Yeah,
So
it's like beyond work basically, like
yeah,
the impact you can make beyond work basically.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's more like what different thing have you done other than what you have studied for like what 7 years, 8 years. So these are the small little things which makes a difference, at least as a personal, like on a personal level, right? Because you're doing something more to the community also. So yeah.
Yeah, no, totally agree. So, so you have worked in India also, I mean, and now you are like worked in like almost three. I think it's I think a kind of same like right, three years like both in India and US. So, what's the difference you feel? I mean, like between India and IT industry in India and like US.
That's a good question actually, but I mean, there's a lot. First of all, I worked like in a support-based project, like more of like it was fully fledged project, but it was more when I was in India, and this is a product-based project which I'm working on right now. So that's a big difference. Um, but one thing, I don't know it's how it's gonna sound, but I'll still say. So one thing that I have noticed in US is the manager won't stand on your head, right? Like to complete the work. So like when it was my first semester, like no, when it was my first week, So I was like, why my manager is not saying anything to me? It's been 1 day, it's been two
You mean
day.
in first week in Microsoft?
Yeah, it's first week in Microsoft, and I was given some documentation to read because I was ramping up on the work. I was like, why my manager is not saying anything to me? It's been 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day. So at the end of the week, he called me like, let's have 101 and let's discuss how's it going for you. And then I got to know that this is the culture over here. Like manager won't come every day picking on you, this is what's happening, but they trust you with things that you will get it done, right? um, but it depends on company to company, manager to manager. So I think the openness, the trustworthiness of like completing the work is like I found more here than and the one thing that we discussed was working odd hours. Like I've never worked in odd hours over here. Like my work finishes like 5:30 maximum, and I started like 9, and it's pretty good. And perks and stuff are pretty good here. Like
Yeah,
breakout room.
definitely. I mean, that will be, I mean, yeah, a major difference, I guess.
I mean, it's a breakout room, coffee area. You can talk to people. You can discuss your ideas. You can just go to the office. So yeah, I mean, my project in India was pretty different. So I cannot just like it's not apple to apple comparison, but both of them has their own
Yeah, it's just
charm
not
because
technically. I'm saying even like culture wise. I think the one example you say, like the manager trust you, and yeah, some here like I mean, yeah, in like I think more might be like in few companies you can see that like in mainly most maybe most of the companies like you have to like give updates or something regular updates basically. I mean,
I
so
mean, updates are here also, but then it's like, yeah, it's like just once in a week, and like the
they are
whole
trust you with it, yeah. No, I have
the whole
like I have that experience basically, like where like we have to like report daily, and like it's like too much micromanagement kind of thing. So yeah, I have experienced only one time in my like experience so far. So but yeah, it like it happens, but yeah, it's no depends. I mean, like companies and yeah, different.
exactly. And I think I'm not just like saying like US is good or like something is bad. I'm just saying like the work culture has been tremendously different here than what's in India. But the
No, no,
situation,
definitely. I think every country has the that like their own way of working, because I think if you like, I have like whatever I have read and so far about Europe. Europe, like their culture is like you people don't work after like 5 p.m. like whatever the 5 or 6 p.m. right? Like nobody is forcing them to work. Like nobody even like they have, because there's a set of rules, right? That you have to work from 9 to 5. You are start whatever, so you have to work in time only, right? And
yeah.
so that's their culture. I mean, like that people like you have to like get the timeline only. That just be focused in that only.
I mean, yeah, like setting the hard timeline is also one of the things like 9 to 5. I'm like, whenever you have an idea, whenever you think or your the idea is hit you, and because there are like aha moment that in your
Yeah,
life, like
yeah, yeah.
you think about the problem too much, and suddenly at 9 p.m. or 1 a.m. in the morning, this was the solution. Let's go and code. So I think it should be that kind of freedom. You're not pushed to do something against your will, but you're more like you want to do it because
Yeah, I agree. It's just that like they're like I think in Europe they promote that culture of like having a balanced life basically. They don't
well, it's
promote
important.
it like I think in India I think that's been the I think a harsh truth, but in India it's been pushed that like the more hours you work, the more late night you work. It's been seen great basically. But
Yeah.
here we are not like we don't have like like that. If you like even if you do more work in the balance, like if you try to balance it, like people don't see it as a pretty good thing, and like that's not a good thing, like that's not something we are promoting also. But here I think in Europe I have what I've seen from people, this is like their government, their like laws promote that basically.
That's nice.
So I mean, what inspires you to do MS? I mean, like my like doing MS, I mean it's a huge step generally. So like what motivates you to do that? I think that's an interesting question for like many people always think about doing it. So yeah, if you can share that journey, basically what motivates you, how you like tackle that part, and yeah, able to go through.
I mean, my like story for this started when I was in my undergrad. So I was in my third year, and I still remember there was this senior who I used to live in the hostel in undergrad. So there was this senior who just lived next to me. So one day he came at like around 7 p.m. in the evening. I was in third year studying, and he came to my room and like he was like, "Oh, these are sweets. Have them." I'm like, "For what?" And he was like, he was in fourth year.
Mhm.
And he was like, "I'm going to Germany." I'm like, "What? Are you going to Germany? How?" It's like I gave a GRE, and I was like, "What is GRE?" And he was like, "It's a graduate record examination through which you can go to like foreign countries to study." And I was like what? Is it something? How did you study? Then I asked him like, "What did you do?" And then he gave me one of the coaching institutes number that you can talk to them because I went there. I think it was just, I think that day, I did not decide it, but from that day, the foundation was laid. I talked to my parents, like, should I go and join? And they're like, if you want to try, you can. Nothing was serious. It was like literally just a joke. It started as a joke, like, let's see
Just
what's
our
up.
ambition started basically like we just
I
like
mean, what's
thinking towards that
wrong?
direction.
And then I went to the coaching. The next day, I'm just going for a day or two. I'm gonna come back. I'm not gonna do it. But they were like so convincing to me. I joined it, and something happened after the other. Uh, but I could not give my GRE. Like something happened, so I have to join TCS. I joined TCS. Spent there for 2.5 years, but kept on studying and finally cracked it, got the admit, and came here. So it's not like I always wanted to do it, but it fascinated me. Someone told me I did this. I'm like, let's try it. So I think it
Oh,
started with
that's
that.
so. How's the like your college experience difference? Like India versus US, like in India college versus US MS college.
I mean, the biggest difference I would say was, of course, how the curriculum was structured. Uh, so in India, we have like 5 subject every day for Monday to Saturday, right? Like we have to
Yes.
study every day in undergrad. But one thing that I found very interesting was over here, like in US, when I was doing my master's, you can choose 3 subject, any 3 subject that you can choose of your choice. Uh, and the classes will be only like twice a week, like that's it. So
Okay.
it's six classes in all for a week. Not bad, easy, right? But you won't believe I was so busy in like, because you get the projects,
Yes.
you cannot like copy because it's you'll be held accountable for plagiarism. So you have to like really work hard. And I took AI and machine learning on my first semester. I mean, uh, so it was like something new. I guess the study over here is more practical based approach, not theoretical based approach.
Yeah,
So
it's
you
like
get a,
more. I think as you said, more assignments like not only assignments driven, but like they are taking more seriously, I guess.
yeah, and assignments are like fun. Like there was one assignment for us to create a chess for using AI, some machine learning algorithms and stuff. And the professor who gave the assignment, he made every code compete against each other, and there was this whole tournament that was going on, and who will win, whose program is going to win. So you have this kind of a competitive thing, like, oh, my program should be a good one. So I mean, this is more like practical based approach and fun approach, which I think lagged when I was doing my undergrad. So
Yeah, I think it's generally lacks. I mean, here it's more about like I mean, like I think we are aware about it. It's more about like marks driven or like people generally focus on that competitive coding things. Academics, I think until you go to like a college which has like really good academic. I mean, like as far as I remember, like Triple IT Delhi is like one of the college where like people go to Like, and most of the people actually go to research, like research focus, or like who study really hard. Otherwise, like even in my college also, like people don't focus that much on academics, I mean, like. And so I think, yeah, it's about the culture. It's about that, I think, thing like we sound that just need a change basically, like needs to be more practical focused and project focused, I guess, than
But
just,
now
I
I
think.
think, yeah, I think now the things are being changed now. Like when I was studying in undergrad, I did not know about this lead code. I did not know about like competitive programming. But people are not now here, like in India, people are being so up to the date. Like like they have like
That's
4-star
beyond
reports.
academic. That's again still not a part of the academic. It's beyond
Yeah,
academic still.
that's true. I agree. But like people are being more like on their feet to learn
Yeah,
new
yeah,
things.
definitely. I mean, it's been more getting more and more competitive. I mean, I
Yeah,
see LinkedIn, like, and the kind of things people are doing and achieving. It's been like really great. I mean, it just not that people from IIT is only doing that. People
yeah.
from like across India, from all colleges, are actually achieving the things basically.
I mean, the bar has raised for sure.
Yes,
Like,
yes, correct, correct. Yeah, it's been more like a more competition now, I guess. More
I'm
competitive
excited.
environment.
I'm excited about like what's gonna happen in like next 5 years. Like, people are being very competitive now. Like, the interview process is gonna be like more hard because you have good people to interview, so you'll be having a good set of questions. So I think the next 5 years is gonna be a pretty good one to watch. Like, what's gonna happen with the interview
Yeah,
process.
yeah, I mean, especially that, I think if you see every five, that way it's changed, the way industry is changing. I think even to think about like later what will happen, like what will I doing, like 10 year, 15 year after. There's a too much to think. I mean, just think about at least, I mean, next 3, 4, 5 years, I mean, and try to think on your fundamentals. But the way it's changing, like, so with so much speed,
Yeah,
like hard to say anything what will happen in the like world basically.
great. Well, let's see.
Yeah, I mean, like if you see, like the Elon Musk is inventing that neuro chip or something, right? He's saying it's coming in 2022, and suddenly this, I think this Facebook thing has changed now. I mean, so I haven't
Yeah.
heard that word, like too much word about metaverse, NFTs. Like I haven't heard that much. Okay, like, but as soon as that Facebook has changed the name, I think it's been going crazy now. The world is going crazy after it. So
Yeah, I agree. In fact, this the Web3 thing has been on top of everyone's mind. Have you heard of Web3, right?
yeah, yeah, I have like I'm hearing everything like Web 3.0 and
Yeah.
like all this stuff basically. So like it's been like now too much like going
Yeah.
like everywhere you can see all these things.
Yeah. I think it started with crypto, and then it's moving towards that decentralized thing.
Yes.
Like, we should be the owner of our own searches and that thing. So I think
Yeah,
it's
even I think
interesting.
Microsoft is doing something, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, they have to be on top of everything, right? Like it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So according to, so like if I ask you, like I say, if you have to build a company tomorrow, what sort of culture you would like to set? I mean, what's a good culture for the like a in the team basically, like a team should have basically, I mean, or you
Uh,
will like to build the culture basically in your company if you start a company tomorrow.
um, I mean, the first thing is like the company is built from the people, like, right, and the people should be, I guess, I mean, hard work, yes, but more of like curious. Hard work is okay, but like if you're more curious about like how's it gonna happen, what's gonna happen if I do this, what's gonna be the output, like if they're curious about things, I think those kind of people are charm to be and to work with. Like I've worked with like literally curious people, and they're like it's such a fun to work with them. So I guess if you give me like a very intelligent person and a curious person, I'll definitely go with a curious person because someone who will be more ready to experiment with what they have, right? So I guess having a team um, where you can share your idea and open to your feedback. I think building that kind of a team is very important. And if you have a good foundation, good team, so things are pretty good as a startup. And as for the culture, I think one thing that I've learned in Microsoft, and I'll say it again, having empathy towards your employees and having your colleagues, your code, like everything. Like if it is not working, give it a time, it will work, right? But I think like these two things, when integrated in a very good way, gives you a very nice fruit. And plus, I guess one more thing is, you know, like people are unbiased. Like there's no boundary. Like manager should be, or like there should be no hierarchy. Like, oh, he's senior, I should not talk to him, or should I go and talk to him or not? So it should be like the open culture of like people are just coming to your desk and like having a discussion, like what do you think about this idea? And so like more open-minded people would create a great
Yeah,
company. And
I agree, agree. It's like, I mean, like there's openness and like able to reach anyone, like even to the like in a small company, like you should able to talk to the CTO like directly without any hesitation. I mean, that able to reach basically.
yeah, I mean, so in my current like when I joined Microsoft, I was the only new grad that was hired, and everyone was like 10 years, 15 years, and 20 years experience. So like initial days I was like, am I in the right team or not? Like people are all experienced, they're all seniors, and I'm just the one who's just joined recently. But hands down, I've learned so much from them because they were open to, point my mistakes, like, or help me guide through the way of like what's happening, what you can do differently. So learning from their own experience, it made me a good developer, I guess. Like it, and a person who is open to feedback in a positive way, like I think he goes a long way. So having good, having a team with like people open to feedback, that's all you want. Like
Yeah, yeah, totally,
all is
totally agree.
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think yeah, so nah, that's great. I mean, so one last question. So the last question that I have is, so what? So basically, like I think people are generally like always have questions or like always curious to know. I mean, when we starting our career, like like we are like starting with entry level engineer like SD1, then we are start slowly growing SD2, senior and more, right? Even let's say when they go for IC, managerial path is still different, but if they go
Yeah.
for like IC path, I mean, what differentiates are like a more senior engineer versus
Yeah.
like entry like initial engineers basically SD1, SD2. I mean, like what's the difference it make? I mean, like it's I think it's the same thing like what SD1 can do code. I think it's like same can do, but what's actually difference can make? I mean, that's I think one question people always have. I mean,
So like what's the difference between different levels?
no, like a more senior engineer, basically, like someone who is like more experienced engineer. I mean, like when you how we grow as an engineer, like how what differentiate between a senior engineer versus a junior engineer? I mean,
I mean
beyond
there are
coding abilities, I guess.
there are a lot of memes that goes around, and they're always funny. Like something has gone bad, that was because of the junior dev. And I mean this term as senior and junior is like very like bad. Like one should not, a software developer is a software developer no matter what his
Yeah.
entire journey has been. Like no one is like up or down, like but yeah, coming to the question, like what makes you more experienced developer,
Yeah,
I
like
think.
experienced engineer basically like see experience is like kind of it will be like 90% it will be senior, like we can say like senior means like we can say if we were equivalent to experience basically. So I mean what skills like I mean they have difference.
More than skills, I'd say the amount of different projects they have worked on, like the amount of exposure that they've got on different projects. Because um, I mean, today one technology is something else. It's gonna be obsolete in like next 5 years or something. So I guess having like being someone who can solve a problem and is a good architect of a software, you know, who can visualize the end result of a problem. Like, you know, if you have given a problem, and if he can see, or if she can see the end result of it, like it's going to be like this, and he can develop, or she can develop like the whole thing in their head, like, oh, it's going to be this, we should use this backend. That's like kind of a like full stack dev. So I guess more of an experience of like where, where all you have worked, like different companies have you worked on, or what's the length of your uh, work on some projects, what kind of project, what challenges have you faced. I guess the senior developers are more of they are refined from hard tasks. They have taken hard tasks in their hand before, and that's how they have been growing ever since. So I guess it's about the challenges that they've faced in their journey and careers. And I guess one thing that I'd say, when you are initially starting up, try to find a problem which is hard. Like, find yourself a challenge. Like, don't go with the easy things.
Easy
Like,
one.
oh, no, I mean, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be very difficult. But at the end of the day, when you solve that problem, you'll always love it. Like, "Oh, I did this." Like, and millions of people might be affected because of using your product, right? You know, so I think having a problem which pushes you towards doing something different than what you have done before, I think that's the journey of being a senior dev. Like,
Yeah, I
like
think you sold you like you have sold like I think complex problems, or you can solve I think those ones, and I think as totally agree with that. Like once if you, yeah, it will be might be initially hard to start with a like a more hard problem, a hard challenge, but if you solved it, the satisfaction you will get, it will be like really awesome that you have like you have achieved that. Now you can definitely know you can this do this level things, so you can
yeah,
like up level yourself basically.
I mean, a simple definition would be, once you stop saying this is a hard problem and this is an easy problem to just saying it's a
Problem.
problem, I think that's when you have become a senior dev. That's like,
Yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah, it's just a problem for you.
it's a problem for you and how can I solve it? So I think it's about the mindset and experience, hands down.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, that's all I have, Aditya. Thank you so much for talking to us. And so
Yeah.
you guys, if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments.
Sure.
Yeah, thank